We've been planning on having a show with the Christchurch Symphony Orchestra for many years. We've been approached by them a few years ago. My friend Hamish McKeish, who is the conductor who conducted our APO show years ago in 2009 in Auckland, he's the one that actually, called Christchurch Symphony Orchestra, and they were keen on working with us. And so we've been trying to plan this for a few years, and it's been very busy schedule and touring elsewhere. And so this year, knowing I'm going to spend a nice chunk of time in New Zealand, I decided definitely let's go ahead and do this show.
Because you've been touring with System a wee bit. Is it hard to get your head into those different spaces, or is it quite organic?
It's not really difficult jumping from one band or musical project to another. In fact, in Europe and Russia, I went from doing 3 weeks with System to doing 3 weeks with orchestra, different types of orchestra, and it's actually really great because with System, it's kind of like it's all like going to the gym. So with System, you're getting your cardio because you're just running, jumping, doing all these crazy acrobatics, both vocally and physically. And then with the orchestra, you're like sitting there and doing more of a spiritual, kind of emotional, intimate connection musically. And it's a different value in terms of the connectivity with the audience. One is a huge festival type of audience with System, and the other is like a beautiful theater like the Auckland Town Hall, or as it would be in Christchurch. So it's a whole different feeling. I like that. I like that diversity.
Yeah, it's cool for Christchurch as well, obviously, because they don't get a whole lot of shows coming through there as well. So it's kind of exciting for them.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about going there. In fact, we've been looking at a number of different non-profits to work with there as well. We're going to donate the proceeds from the show, the net proceeds of the show, actually, to a non-profit that we've picked out, but we haven't talked to them yet, so I'd rather not mention it. But yeah, there's a lot of great work happening there, which is really interesting. Obviously the effects of the earthquake and everything else that's happened since then have been devastating. It's created all these spaces, because all these people have moved and gone away. So it's a city with a lot of spaces, which we're not used to. Most urban areas are so concentrated. And so the creatives of the city have been trying to see how they can take advantage of those spaces in a creative and positive way. So there's all these organizations that are doing some, really outside of the box thinking with people. There's like instruments set up in a park, for example, and random people can go up and play them. There's areas where people can go and dance and just put in their CD or something like that. It's all set up with a little PA and a system for, just incredible creative spaces that would not otherwise exist in a city. So I guess these are some of the good things that we can say have come out of all this experience.
Don't you see their bodies burning? There's a lot them full of yearning, dying of anticipation, choking from intoxication. Don't you see their bodies burning?
For someone that doesn't know what to expect, hadn't been to the Town Hall show, what are they going to actually see at the show? How's this going to work? Is it your original pieces? Is it a combination of yours and others? How does it work?
Since the Auckland Town Hall show in 2009, we've done 26 orchestral shows throughout Europe and Russia and Ukraine and all these countries. And it's been incredible. It's been incredible with all these different types of orchestras. So Auckland was the first to kind of put this on that road. And so the show that we're going to do in Christchurch is a similar show to what we did last year in Europe and Russia. It's a hybrid show between the Elected at Symphony, which are my orchestral pieces that I did with the Auckland Philharmonia Orchestra in 2009, and also Orca, my new symphony. Orca is a traditional symphony. It's instrumental, and it's not rock songs with symphonic variations. So it's actually a beautiful show, a very unique show, and a way of showing off the dynamics of an orchestra playing almost very heavy rock kind of oriented moments, and coming down and playing just like really beautiful intimate pieces from Orca. We have a duduk player, an Armenian reed instrument player from Armenia, soloist, Vartan Grigoryan, and he is just stunning. And he plays on movement 4 of Orca. as well as a few other songs. And so it's quite a joy putting on these shows. And you know, so far every audience that we've interacted with our orca shows have been quite moved by it. Yeah.
That's cool, and I guess you can play with the energy levels as well a lot, because I guess the system show is like full on all the time. Here you've got those moments of intensity and just bringing it straight back as well.
Absolutely. Right? I mean, people are so used to musical segmentation. You know, with a rock orchestra, with a rock show, everyone's on their feet, yelling, screaming, having beers. Yep. With a classical show, everyone's sitting down, well dressed and quiet. Now we're breaking those barriers, so we're not, we're not going to have the typical classical setting. Yes, you will have to sit down. For most of the show, you will have to be quiet because they are, they're acoustic instruments. They're not electric instruments. However, the attitude, the dress code, the way that we interact with the audience and have them get up at the end of the show and go wild, that's not typical of the classical world. And the orchestras that we've worked with seem to really enjoy that kind of attention and that kind of really outpouring of emotion from audiences, and vice versa.
How's the reaction been like from the classical world and the rock world when you first started doing this? Was the reaction what you expected?
I don't really know what the classical world is.
Yeah, that's the question.
I barely
isn't
know
it,
what
really?
the rock world is.
Yeah.
Look, we haven't really gone through the process of sending the symphony to critics or any of that sort. We just put out the record, let our fans know about it, and whoever hears about it, it's on iTunes and whatnot. We did some special packages that we shipped out. We did get the inaugural performance of Orca in Linz, Austria, with the Das Karussell Orchestra, which was done the year before last, which is where we recorded Orca for release. That got really amazing reviews in the press in Austria, which someone translated to me. So that was really cool. I was like, wow, that sounds great. You have great composer. Oh, very nice, But otherwise, we haven't really, gone to the press much with it, or that kind of.
Cool. It just burbles along.
I mean,
it's cool.
Look, everyone's used to, like I said, music is very segmented, and it shouldn't be in today's world where there's so many intermixing of musical styles together and whatnot. So, I would bet that rock critics and wouldn't love a symphony record. I would bet that classical critics are not going to love someone coming from the rock world and doing a symphony record. I would bet that jazz purist writers, in fact, I know jazz purist writers are not into my Jazz is Christ record. But hey, that's okay, because I'm making the music that is coming to me from the universe, and I'm presenting it the best way that I can, and I'm putting a spin on it that is uniquely what I do, And as long as my fans and people that are following me seem to like it, I'm happy with it. I'm thankful for it.
Obviously, like people like John Southers as well have really picked up on it, and they're along for the ride, which is kind of cool, right?
John Southers is amazing. We worked together in 2009 doing the Elected Dead Symphony. He helped me flush out the whole composition for a 70-piece orchestra in Auckland. And since then, we've remained friends, and we're actually working together now in doing a new piece. It's called 100 Years, and it will be, we'll have it out next year in 2015, and it will be about genocide and Holocaust. It's a heavy topic, and we're looking, the way that the piece is a beautiful piece that goes from ethnic to orchestral to many different things. And we're having friends from all over the world participate by playing on it, and we're going to be showing them on video as well as recording their audio and recording their voice, and basically having their own kind of emotional, spiritual stamp on the piece. And we're going to be displaying it at festivals as well as probably on YouTube and whatnot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That'll be, it is a heavy topic, incredibly heavy topic. It
is a heavy topic, and we want to bring awareness to the fact that there are still, even though with all the, the Genocide Convention at the UN and all these different committees and subcommittees designed to tackle genocide, genocide is still a modern human disease that's not fully looked after by the international community. We saw in Darfur, for example, the Chinese had economic ties that they wouldn't back off from, So we need to have some type of framework that makes genocide kind of or Holocaust, kind of a no-fly zone. Anytime that's happening, then all nations break immediate ties. They get together and discuss humanitarian aid, etc. We're seeing with Syria as well, which is, I don't necessarily call that a genocide, but we're seeing with the Syrian civil war how confusing it is for the international community. Nations don't know which side to support. You've got a tyrant on one side, and then you've got terrorist groups on the other side, along with truly rebellious part of the population. You've got sectarian violence. You've got religious factions and differences. It's difficult, but we have to take a stand against this modern disease called genocide.
In a way, do you find it refreshing coming to New Zealand where you can just kind of politically, I guess, we're a little bit more, the issues are a bit smaller here, I suppose. Do you find that quite an encouraging thing?
I do. I mean, obviously New Zealand has its own issues that we grapple with here, but yeah, the geopolitical issues are way more tame. The semi-neutrality of the country is definitely a very progressive outlook that many nations can benefit from that type of perspective, and and Kiwis are quite wise politically and in terms of international politics, because they read. Most people in America don't read, and the educational system is great. So I think it's not just enough to have a democracy. It's important to have an educated democracy, because without an educated, literate democracy, you can have a George Bush as your leader, and that is as dangerous as maybe having Assad as your leader in some cases. So yeah, it's quite interesting. But coming to New Zealand, it's refreshing, every year. And I live between New Zealand and Los Angeles, as you all know, and it slows things down on a beautiful level, and increases the lifestyle for me, the quality of the lifestyle, and the people that I interact with, and the relationships that I develop. And it's a different world, and I'd love it to stay like that forever.
Skipping right to something else, your art that you're working on here. I mean, you're doing some pieces here in New Zealand.
Yes.
Do you have plans for that here or internationally, or what are you planning to do with the stuff you're making here?
Yes, really excited. I've been doing art for the first time. I've been painting and creating these musically linked paintings, and we've developed an app called Eye for Sound that allows you to take your smartphone and through optical recognition allows you to play music while viewing a painting or a piece of sculpture. And so we have a number of artist friends that have joined into this Eye for Sound community, and we're doing a multi-artist, multimedia exhibition. We're looking at doing something in Los Angeles this year, and we're also looking at doing something major at a museum in Auckland next year, early next year.
Cool.
And
That's
so
exciting.
it's very exciting. It's very unique, because the same artist is doing both the music and the visual piece. So they both complete the picture together. And we're also talking to visual artists here in New Zealand who have musical abilities and play the piano or do things. And so we want to kind of incorporate their talent into it as well, and bring that as an inverse formula into the Eye for Sound world.
You're pretty much incapable of taking time off, aren't you? Like you pretty much are. You're so ridiculously busy.
No, man, I'm chilling. Look
You're
at
chilling?
me. I'm chilling.
You don't seem like a man that's chilling.
I'm on a farm. I'm relaxing. I'm doing a little work, and but I'm not traveling as much this year. I've taken this year and next year. Well, I don't want to say anything about next year yet, but
no, let's keep that. Yeah.
But I've slowed down this year. I'm spending more time on the farm here in New Zealand, and kind of enjoying my life, and growing veggies and beautiful orchards, and doing some music. Compose and compost, that's my new thing. Composting and composing, all in the same day. I swear it's amazing, going out and working on the farm for 2-3 hours, getting your sweat done, getting your body going, and and actually feeling the difference that you're making, you know, physically on the land, and then coming in, showering, and then starting to work on music and doing something creative or painting, you know. It's like they're both the same, really. It's a continuation one of the other, you know.
Yeah.
You're both interacting in a natural element and providing some type of service in some ways. Yeah.
Are you glad you moved to New Zealand?
I'm more than glad. I'm ecstatic. Yeah. It's my haven, you know, and it's also a place where I feel more creative, and I feel more at home and myself, to be honest with you. And I've lived in LA since 1975, which is a lot of years, and you know, and I have a lot of friends there. I have family there, and it's difficult to move away. My work is mostly there, you know. The entertainment industry is there, films, and I've been scoring for films and video games, etc. So, and the music industry is kind of based there in the world, you know.
Big time.
But, you know, and having that excitement and working is great there. But when I get off tour, I don't think of going to my place in LA. I think of coming to New Zealand, you know, as home, because I feel more at home here.
Because it's a big gamble, isn't it, when you move to a new country? Essentially, well, you know, you've got the split between the two, but it could have been entirely different all these years later. But it's worked out so well. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you know, it wasn't an experiment for me. It was more of like, this is where I know I have to be. How do I make this happen realistically? Yeah. And obviously that takes time, you know, whether it's residency or purchasing a place and kind of spending quite a bit of time and making sure you have time out of your travel schedule and everything so you can spend time there. But, you know, it's been the most rewarding experience that I can say. And you know, everyone always asks me about New Zealand. I had a friend of mine call me the other day and he's like, all right, tell me about New Zealand. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like, you should just come down first. And, you know, don't, you know, I've spoke to many different people, from famous directors that I've told you personally about, to different people about New Zealand, because I mean, there's a lot of interest in New Zealand, especially from creative people that can afford to make the change in their lives. And I think that's wonderful. I think the government's policy of actually helping kind of, you know, be a catalyst for that change and bringing in creative people, really people with vision, I think is a great thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it'll pay off. Yeah.
And just finally, I bet you find a lot of musicians that come through town probably constantly want you to come on stage with them. All the time, you know? All the time. Lip sealed. Lip sealed.
Yeah, lip sealed.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like, I mean, Tool pops through and you're on stage with them, you know? I imagine you get a few people that come through and they call and say, hey, what are you doing tonight? Kind of thing, you know?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's cool. It's cool having friends come to play a show in Auckland and me saying, hey, come out to the farm and let's hang out. Let's go to the beach and, you know, chill out and give them a day off from their tour, away from their camp. It's a beautiful thing. We did that with Tom Morello, who was here a few weeks ago with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. And he said, okay, so before the show he came up to me and he's like, so what are you going to sing with us tonight? I'm like, nothing. I am a viewer in the audience. I will drink with you and I will watch your show and I will congratulate you after. But I did not have the guts to get up on a Bruce Springsteen stage. I'll be the first to say it. I was scared. I've gone up with Tool and, you know,
you want to just watch Bruce as well, don't you? You know, a show like that, and what a show it was.
It was an amazing
show. You know,
show.
as far as taking a show, and it was pretty amazing.
It was incredible.
He's got it.
Incredible. And to me, the highlight was when Tom played, you know, the Ghost of Tom Joad with Bruce.
Everyone was blown away.
Like, wow.
It was nuts.
It was incredible. Yeah.